A seemingly perfect marriage shattered in a single night when a wealthy entrepreneur vanished into thin air, leaving behind only whispers of betrayal and revenge. 3 months ago, Lira Voss attended Marrowick's annual autumn charity gala, wearing a sapphire blue gown and her signature diamond jewelry. By midnight, security cameras captured her walking toward the woods behind her estate. She hasn't been seen since. Have you ever wondered what dark secrets lie behind the perfect family portraits we see on social media? What would drive someone to abandon everything they've built? Or worse, what forces might conspire to remove them from their carefully constructed life? The truth about Lira's disappearance goes beyond a simple missing persons case. Why was security footage missing from the exact time frame she vanished? What significance does a remote cabin in the woods hold? And most disturbing of all, why did Major Callum Voss wait until morning to report his wife missing when he knew she never returned from the garden? As we examine the evidence and conflicting testimonies, you'll discover how easily appearances deceive us and how deadly the consequences can be when love transforms into possession. Subscribe now for more true crime stories that reveal the warning signs we all must recognize before tragedy strikes in our own lives or the lives of those we love. Marrowick, Virginia exists in the shadow of Fort Ashland, where American flags adorn front porches and military precision influences everything from lawn maintenance to dinner schedules. In this community where rank extends beyond base boundaries, the Voss family stood as unofficial royalty. Major Callum Voss commanded respect through 15 years of distinguished Army intelligence service. His chest full of medals and security clearance level made him both admired and slightly feared. At 40, his rigid posture and calculated speech reflected a man who lived by order and control. His wife Lira built an empire of her own. Her chain of luxury home decor boutiques, Voss Interiors, attracted wealthy clients from as far as Richmond and Washington, D.C. At 36, she possessed both business acumen and a magnetic charm that drew people into her orbit. Her parties became the highlight of Marrowick's social calendar. Their estate on Magnolia Lane sprawled across 3 acres with colonial columns and manicured gardens that hosted everything from military fundraisers to local charity auctions. Inside, each room displayed Lira's expert design touch, showcasing her products while creating an atmosphere of attainable luxury. Yet keen observers noticed subtle friction. At the 4th of July gala, Lira's laugh seemed forced when Callum recounted her cute business mistakes. During his speech at the Veterans Foundation dinner, she checked her phone repeatedly, her smile never reaching her eyes. Their housekeeper, Eleanor Mills, later recalled moments that gained significance only in retrospect. Hushed arguments behind closed doors, separate bedrooms explained away as accommodating Callum's unusual hours, Lira's increasing time spent away at business conferences. They were like 2 actors in the same play, Eleanor would later tell Detective Rourke. Perfect when someone was watching, but the minute the audience left, they dropped their roles and moved to opposite sides of the stage. The performance continued flawlessly until Callum returned early from deployment and found something that shattered their carefully constructed world. 6 months before her disappearance, Lira began declining invitations she would have once accepted without hesitation. The annual Officers' Wives Luncheon, the summer art auction, even her own boutique's 5-year anniversary celebration saw her making brief appearances before slipping away early. She seemed elsewhere, recalled Diane Winthrop, Lira's friend of 7 years. When you spoke to her, you could tell she was physically present but mentally gone. Her eyes constantly drifted to exits or her watch. As Callum's deployment schedule intensified, 3 overseas assignments in 8 months, the distance between them grew beyond mere geography. Upon his returns, neighbors noticed their interactions had transformed from affectionate to performative. Their once spontaneous dinner parties became meticulously orchestrated events where both played their parts with practiced precision. Lira's personal assistant, Morgan Chun, observed her employer's transformation firsthand. She started keeping separate calendars, one she shared with Major Voss and another private one. She changed her passwords, took more private calls, and sometimes just stared out the window for hours. What few understood was the exhaustion of maintaining their golden couple image. While Callum climbed the military hierarchy, Lira expanded to new locations, each success demanding more energy to sustain their reputation. Text messages recovered later revealed her private thoughts. I'm drowning in expectations. Every smile feels like it might crack my face. Their marriage had become another military operation, strategized, executed, and evaluated for success. When Callum's colleague commented on their enviable relationship at a dinner party, security footage captured Lira's response. A perfect smile followed by a glass of wine drained in 3 swift gulps once all eyes turned away. The Richmond Design Expo promised new inventory for Lira's boutiques. What she found instead was freedom. While examining handcrafted light fixtures, she bumped into Rowan Hallberg, a landscape architect whose booth featured living art installations combining water, glass, and botanical elements. Your designs don't follow conventional patterns, Lira noted, tracing her finger along a curved glass sculpture. Neither does nature, Rowan replied. The most beautiful things grow without permission. Unlike Callum's pressed uniforms and calculated speech, Rowan wore rumpled linen shirts and spoke passionately about creative intuition. His work followed no military timeline. Projects evolved organically according to inspiration rather than deadlines. At 36, he built his reputation on rejecting formulas, embracing spontaneity that Lira's structured world had long abandoned. Their professional consultation over coffee extended into dinner. For 3 hours, Lira spoke about design aspirations she'd buried beneath practical business decisions. Rowan listened without checking the time once. They exchanged numbers for professional collaboration. 3 days later, they met to discuss potential installations for a flagship store. Within weeks, texts about business evolved into personal confessions. I can't remember the last time Callum asked what I wanted, not what customers expect or what fits our image, she wrote one night. With him, I'm a general's wife and a successful entrepreneur. Never just Lira. Rowan became her sanctuary. Their relationship developed through stolen moments. Lunch meetings extended into afternoon walks, design consultations in a studio lasting until evening. In these hours, Lira rediscovered parts of herself that had atrophied in her marriage. To friends, she explained her renewed energy as business excitement. Privately, she confided to her journal, I'm suffocating in a house where every object is perfectly placed but nothing feels real. With Rowan, I breathe again. Their affair progressed cautiously until Lira began signing texts as A.W. Astor White, her grandmother's name and her childhood refuge. This seemingly innocent code would later become like if you've ever witnessed relationships that appeared perfect on the surface but concealed completely different realities underneath. September brought crisp autumn breezes to Marrowick. In an unexpected development, Major Callum Voss returned from his overseas assignment 2 days ahead of schedule. The house stood quiet when he entered, dropping his duffel bag in the foyer. Lira was attending a supplier meeting in Richmond, not expecting his arrival until the weekend. Military precision guided his movements as he inspected their home, noting small changes: fresh flowers in vases, wine glasses in the dishwasher, a throw blanket arranged differently than his preference. In her study, he sought her schedule book to plan a welcome dinner. Instead, he found a drawer locked for the first time in their marriage. His intelligence training had taught him to identify anomalies. This qualified. Using skills honed through military service, he bypassed the simple lock. Inside lay a second phone, sleek, black, and unauthorized in a household where transparency was mandatory. The passcode took 3 attempts before her birth date granted access. The messages appeared immediately. Hundreds exchanged with A.W. Intimate confessions, meeting arrangements, expressions of longing. Photographs, plans, evidence of a calculated betrayal spanning months. Callum didn't throw the phone, didn't shout, didn't break a single object. He methodically photographed key messages, reset the lock, and retreated to his home office where he spent hours reviewing their financial records, security system, and Lira's recent movements. Meanwhile, across town, Lira sat in Mira Sloane's kitchen, clutching a cup of tea gone cold. "He'll be home Friday," she whispered. "I can't continue this charade." Mira reached for her friend's trembling hand. "Have you decided what to do?" "I'm meeting with a lawyer next week. Rowan found us a place outside Richmond." Her voice cracked. "I never meant for this to happen, but I can't breathe in that house anymore." Neither woman noticed the black sedan parked 3 houses down, where the military-grade directional microphone pointed at Myra's kitchen window. The Marrowick Autumn Charity Gala transformed the Ashland Country Club into a glittering showcase of wealth and influence. Crystal chandeliers cast golden light across marble floors while string musicians played classical arrangements from a corner stage. Every military officer, local politician, and business elite arrived in formal attire, ready to be seen among the right circles. Lira entered on Callum's arm at 8 o'clock, her sapphire gown drawing appreciative glances. His dress uniform adorned with medals complemented her perfectly, a power couple choreographed down to their matching smiles. "You look magnificent tonight," he told her loudly enough for nearby guests to hear, his fingers pressing into her elbow with uncomfortable pressure. "Thank you, darling." Her practiced smile never faltered. "Your speech will undoubtedly impress everyone." Throughout the evening, they maintained flawless public harmony. He guided her through conversations with commanding officers, his hand perpetually at the small of her back. She laughed at appropriate moments, touched his arm affectionately when others watched. Only the bartender noticed her requesting doubles, while Callum delivered his keynote address about loyalty and honor. By 11, the tension between them had become almost visible. During a moment alone near the dessert table, security cameras captured their exchange. "Your phone's been buzzing all night," Callum remarked, his voice low. "Work never stops," Lira replied, clutching her clutch purse tighter. "Interesting. I called your office earlier. Jennifer mentioned you've canceled 3 client meetings this week." The footage showed Lira's smile freezing as color drained from her face. At midnight, as dancing reached its peak, Lira approached her friend Diane. "I need some air. Cover for me with Callum." Security cameras tracked her path through the terrace doors, across the manicured lawn, and toward the wooded area bordering the property. The timestamp read 12:07 a.m. She never returned. By 2 a.m., Diane had searched the entire venue. Lira's purse remained on their reserve table, her phone inside, showing multiple missed calls from AW. Callum, oddly calm, suggested she might have called a car service home due to a headache. It wasn't until morning that anyone reported her missing, a delay that would later become central to the investigation. Detective Sienna Rourke arrived at the Voss estate 18 hours after Lira's disappearance. A 14-year veteran with Marrowick Police Department's Major Crimes Unit, Rourke was known for catching details others missed. Within minutes of walking through the front door, she found her first red flag. "The security system shows a gap," she told her partner. "Footage from 12:10 a.m. to 1:15 a.m. is completely missing. Not corrupted, deleted." The house itself presented contradictions. In the kitchen, officers detected the distinct smell of bleach despite the housekeeper's day off. The master bathroom tiles gleamed too brightly. In Lira's study, drawers sat perfectly aligned, almost performatively organized. "Someone cleaned thoroughly and recently," Rourke observed, pulling on latex gloves to open the desk drawer where she found a second phone. Unlike Callum, she needed a warrant to access its contents. When the forensics team finally unlocked it, they discovered encrypted messages and a GPS location pinned to a remote cabin 20 miles outside town. The final message from AW read simply, "Tonight, at the cabin, you will have freedom." Meanwhile, Major Callum Voss transformed into a grieving husband before television cameras. "My wife is my everything," he declared, voice breaking perfectly. "Please, anyone with information, help bring Lira home." Off camera, Rourke noted his composed demeanor during questioning, his precisely consistent statements, and his impeccable recall of minor details, traits her experience flagged as rehearsed rather than authentic. Most spouses in crisis show emotional variability, she later wrote in her case notes. Subject displays military-grade emotional control inconsistent with genuine distress. When officers excavated Lira's laptop, they discovered searches for divorce attorneys and apartment listings in Richmond, all deleted but recovered by forensics. The investigation took a darker turn when blood spatter, invisible to the naked eye but revealed under luminol, appeared on the kitchen baseboards beneath the fresh bleach. Comment below with your theories about what happened to Lira Voss. Did she flee a controlling marriage, or did something more permanent silence her forever? By week 2, Lira's disappearance dominated local headlines and attracted national attention. Cable news networks broadcast hourly updates, while social media exploded with amateur detectives analyzing every available detail. Hashtag Find Lira Voss trended alongside the more accusatory hashtag Voss Lies as public sentiment shifted. Detective Rourke located Rowan Hallberg at his design studio. Initially claiming he'd spent the entire gala night at a client meeting in Richmond, his story collapsed when surveillance footage from a gas station placed his vehicle driving toward Marrowick at 11:42 p.m., precisely when he claimed to be presenting landscaping plans across town. "I was protecting my privacy," he admitted during his third interview. "Yes, Lira and I planned to meet that night, but she never arrived. I waited at the cabin until 2 a.m. before giving up." His confession led officers to search the cabin, where they discovered a wine glass with Lira's lipstick imprint and, more damning, carpet fibers matching those from the Voss estate entryway. In the fireplace, partially burned documents revealed what appeared to be escape plans. 2 one-way tickets to Vancouver printed the day before the gala. Most revealing was the cellular data extracted from the towers surrounding Fort Ashland. Despite Callum's insistence that he remained at the gala until 3 a.m. before returning directly home, his phone registered on towers near the cabin at 12:35 a.m., exactly when Rowan claimed to be waiting for Lira alone. Forensic analysis of Callum's vehicle revealed microscopic blood droplets in the trunk matching Lira's rare blood type. The vehicle's GPS history showed a route deviation into the woods, though Callum maintained his navigation system must have malfunctioned. When confronted with these discrepancies, Major Voss requested legal representation and ceased cooperation with the investigation, transforming overnight from grieving husband to prime suspect in the court of public opinion. 3 months after Lira's disappearance, local hiker Marcus Dawson spotted something glinting beneath fallen leaves near Creek Trail, a sapphire earring identical to those Lira wore at the gala. His discovery triggered an expanded search operation across 5 miles of dense woodland. 2 days of methodical combing yielded critical evidence. A torn scrap of blue fabric caught on brambles, matching the unique dye composition of Lira's gown. Nearby, investigators discovered a clearing where dried blood had soaked into the forest floor. Forensic testing confirmed it belonged to Lira Voss. The blood pattern indicates a traumatic injury, not a simple cut, explained forensic expert Dr. Helen Myers. The volume suggests the victim couldn't have walked away unassisted. Armed with physical evidence, Detective Rourke constructed a timeline that filled the gaps in the security footage. 12:07 a.m. Lira exits the gala 12:23 a.m. Rowan arrives at the cabin, confirmed by security camera from neighboring property. 12:35 a.m. Callum's phone pings near the cabin location 1:17 a.m. Callum returns to the gala. Witness confirmation 1:40 a.m. Rowan's vehicle passes highway cameras heading away from Marrowick. "We believe Major Voss tracked his wife to her rendezvous, confronted both parties, and violence ensued," Rourke stated in her arrest warrant application. The evidence suggests premeditation rather than a crime of passion. With the district attorney's approval, police arrested both men in a coordinated operation. Major Callum Voss was taken into custody at Fort Ashland, charged with first-degree murder, evidence tampering, and obstruction of justice. Simultaneously, officers apprehended Rowan Hallberg at his studio, charging him with accessory after the fact and conspiracy. The arrest shocked Marrowick's tight-knit community, but the question remained: where was Lira's body? The trial of Commonwealth versus Voss and Hallberg captivated America for 11 weeks. Prosecutors painted Callum as a controlling husband who chose elimination over divorce, while portraying Rowan as a complicit partner who helped conceal evidence after realizing the affair had deadly consequences. Key testimony came from Eleanor Mills, who revealed finding bleach-soaked rags hidden in the garden shed. Digital forensics experts presented Callum's internet searches, undetectable poisons, decomposition rates in Virginia woods, and how deep to bury evidence. Most damning was Mira Sloan's account of Lira's final confession. "I'm terrified of what he might do when he discovers I'm leaving." After 4 days of deliberation, the jury returned with their verdict. Callum Voss guilty on all counts. Rowan Hallberg guilty of accessory after the fact, but acquitted of conspiracy. The judge sentenced Callum to life without parole, while Rowan received 8 years with possibility of early release. Despite the convictions, Lira's body remains unfound. Every anniversary of her disappearance, Marrowick residents gather for a candlelight vigil in the town square. Her parents established the Lira Voss Foundation for Domestic Violence Prevention, turning personal tragedy into community protection. Detective Rourke hasn't closed the case file. Twice monthly, she revisits the evidence and searches new areas of the surrounding forest. "Until we bring Lira home," she told reporters, "justice remains incomplete." This case offers crucial lessons about relationships and safety. Perfect appearances often mask profound dysfunction. Controlling behavior escalates when control is threatened. Unexplained changes in personality or routine may signal hidden distress. The most dangerous moment in abusive relationships is often when the victim attempts to leave. The tragedy of Lira Voss reminds us to look beyond curated social media images and pay attention to subtle warning signs in our loved ones' relationships. Subscribe and share this video to help others recognize these critical warning signs before it's too late. Your awareness could save someone caught in the same deadly pattern.